Hi everyone, and welcome to challenge number 13 of our Coding to Christmas series. Today's question it was all about Santa. Let's jump over. So Santa's left his naughty and nice list on his iPhone. He wants to access it by entering a passcode 4646. Create a function that checks to see if that passcode is correct. If it is, say that obviously his phone is unlocked. If it's incorrect, say that it's denied. And then we can have a look at giving the user 3 chances to enter a passcode. And then if they don't do it after 3, obviously locking them out. So sort of a traditional, I guess, phone locking system, padlock system, etc. So let's see how we do it. So in today's lesson, we really want you to be focusing on using a function to do things. So let's start off just by defining a function. So we define that using the def keyword. So we'll say def, let's call this pass underscore check. And then we're going to pass in a parameter. So let's say the code. So this could be let's call it passcode. And then inside here, I'm just going to write pass for the moment because we don't really need to define the actual code inside of the function. And then we're just going to call our function at the bottom. So we'll run that, see what happens. So you'll run and we'll see we're getting an error. So the error here we're getting is that we are calling our function and we are not passing through a parameter. So let's fix that. Let's pass through a passcode. Run that again. This time you'll notice that the error is gone. It's all run and worked fine. There's just no output this time because obviously we have not programmed a output yet. So now let's get on to actually defining the code that makes up our function. So what we need to do here is we need to check the passcode. So the variable passcode will hold whatever code has been entered. And we need to compare it to the known good value, which is that 464646, which I believe spells out ho 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 on a sort of like a phone keypad. So let's have a look at doing that. So with this, we can use just an if statement. So if passcode =, and the code is 464646. So if that is the case, we're going to print out unlocked. And obviously the alternative, if you get the passcode wrong, we'll say error locked. So let's have a go at running that again. And you'll see now on the right hand side, just about, I think that just see it on the screen, it says error locked, because obviously it didn't match up. So the joy of using a function is that I can obviously call this multiple times with different values. So if I put in 464646, run that again, you'll see the first time we call the function, we've got error locked. The second time, it now says unlocked, which means obviously we got that code correct. So there's a simple function for dealing with the passcode. Obviously, we have hard-coded the password that they need to actually use inside the function, which isn't ideal, but it works for this particular problem. So the next part of the question is about obviously monitoring the number of attempts that the user has made to enter a passcode, and then locking them out if they are incorrect after a certain number. So we can keep that function there and we can reuse it. So let's now create another function. This one we will call, what should we call this one? Lock after 3 tries. So we're going to just create a function now that will handle the actual 3 tries. So once again, I could do our same sort of thing. If instead of calling that pass check, I call our function here. Again, run it. We see that there are no errors, so I know that I've got all of the code syntax correct. And now we're just on to actually defining the content of this function. So because we need to somehow monitor how many times the user has had a go, so let's just call that tries. So tries equals 0 to begin with, so they've got no tries at all. And then inside this, we'll say that while tries is less than 3, so that gives them 3 attempts. It will do some work, and then obviously what we'll do is each time that they do attempt it, we're going to increment the value on tries. So we'll only allow that to happen 3 times. We are then going to now begin to ask the user the question for what is your passcode. So as we've done on many of these sessions before, we're going to get the input. So I'll say that code equals input from the user. We'll ask the question, what is the code? Allow them to use it. We're expecting them from this function above to actually just be using an integer. So I'm going to actually cast that to be an int. And then as part of that here, I should just be able to call the function that we declared above. So again, just being lazy, I'll copy and paste that. So we're going to now call the passCheck function, and we're going to pass in the code that we just got from line 20. This will then mean that the passCheck works. It will come up here. The if, it'll print out the message, the else, etc. So we can do that. So what this is not going to do though is it's not going to break out of our while statement because we're using that that function, so it doesn't return anything. It doesn't tell you to break out of it. So what we might want to do is, I guess for case of ease, we'll just bring that in here for the moment. We might come back and edit it shortly if we just show it in here. So again, as you're coding, you can just go through and change the way that you're doing things, tweak them a little bit as you go. So passcode here, that's obviously just code in this example. So in this case here, what is the code? We then check to see the code. If it equals that, it prints unlocked, and then we need to break out of our while loop. So I'll just use the break statement. Otherwise, it'll say error locked, and then we'll come back and we'll do the while loop again. It'll do that 3 times before ultimately failing out. So what is the code? I'll just say 1, locked. What is the code 2? What is the code 3? Error locked, and that's the end of our program running. Obviously run that again. Let's do that again. So I got the error on the first one, but now I'll put in the actual code. So 464646, and then unlocked. And then because I got it right, it didn't try running it for the 3rd time, and the program just ends. So we jumped out of that while loop. Other things that we could do here, we could add a further if statement at the bottom. So if tries equals 3, so this would be if they didn't get it right after 3 attempts. We can say too many attempts. So I'll run that. What is the code? 1, 2, 3. And as you see there, once we put 3 incorrect passwords in, it now shows the message too many attempts. So this is the basic code. So what I could have done is obviously I could try and reuse this function that we first wrote as part of this. I would just have to make sure that this returned some information that I could then use inside the function there. But again, you can code this in so many different ways, so don't feel like you need to have exactly sort of what we've gone through here. This is obviously just quite a quick and easy way to go through it. It's by no means the best way, but it works, and that is the most important thing with any of your code, that it actually works. Some things that you might want to have a go at extending on this then is, so perhaps try, if you have got this far with the code, you might want to have another go at trying to actually use this first function inside of this second one so that you are reusing the code. And then the other thing that you might want to do is try and get rid of hard coding this passcode inside of the function. Instead, pass it in as a parameter and store it outside. That means that you have the ability to use either of these functions for anybody's passcodes, not just for Santa's. So it just make your code a lot more reusable. But that's everything we've got for you today. So thanks once again for joining. That was challenge number 13. We're coming towards the end of these now. We've only got a handful of them left. But we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for challenge 14. We'll see you then. Bye.